The blood-red moon hangs low over the Thornwood Amphitheatre. Thousands of wolves watch in silence as Kira Frost stands in the center. The golden thread, the soul-deep mate bond, connects her to Alpha Kane, Valeris. It pulses with light. Then, Kane draws a jagged, silver-infused blade. He doesn't hesitate. He slices through the golden thread. Kira screams, a sound that rips through the night. The magical backlash throws her 20 feet across the stone floor. She slams into the ground, her chest heaving. Black blood leaks from her lips. Kane steps over her, his eyes cold, devoid of any warmth. He wraps a possessive arm around Talia, his new chosen mate. Kane sneers, his voice booming over the silence of the pack. Look at you, Kira. Broken. Weak. A hollow shell of a wolf. You were never fit to be my Luna. Kira struggles to get up, her fingers clawing into the dirt. She stares at him, defiance flickering in her silver eyes. It doesn't matter, Kane. The bond is gone. I owe you nothing. Kane kicks her side, sending her sprawling back into the dust. You are exiled. If I see you on Thornwood land by sunrise, I will hunt you myself. Kira doesn't wait for a second blow. She turns and runs. She sprints into the dense black forest, ignoring the burning agony in her chest where her soul used to be. Every step feels like a knife in her lungs. Behind her, the howling begins. The hunt is on. Kira dives into the mud, camouflaging her scent. 3 elite executioners from Kane's guard are on her tail, their forms shifting from human to massive, black-furred wolves. They are faster, they are stronger, and they are hungry. One wolf leaps, its jaws snapping inches from her throat. Kira rolls, grabbing a heavy, jagged branch. As the beast lands, she swings with all her remaining strength, driving the wood into its flank. It yelps, staggering back. She doesn't stop to watch. She climbs a cedar, leaping from branch to branch, moving like a phantom.
Help me!
Suddenly, the ground explodes with light. Silver-tipped bolts fly through the air. Her sister Rhea emerges from the shadows, her tactical crossbow raised. Rhea fires 3 rapid shots, the explosives detonating the path behind them. Kira! Rhea screams, shoving a map into her hands. Cross the eastern ridge. If you stop, you die. Find Alpha Vance Stryker of Shadowvale. Kira grips her sister's shoulders. Come with me. I'll hold them, Rhea shouts, turning to face 4 incoming wolves. Go! Kira turns and sprints. She doesn't look back, even when she hears the sickening sound of claws meeting flesh. If you think Kira is going to make it, smash that like button right now. Do you think Rhea survives the fight? Let me know your theories in the comments section below. I'm reading every single one. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single second of this revenge saga. Hours pass. The forest gives way to the brutal, ironclad walls of the Shadowvale territory. Kira is a wreck. Her clothes are shredded, she's covered in mud and blood, and her energy is fading. She stumbles to the massive iron gate. 6 guards immediately level silver-plated rifles at her chest. Identify yourself, one guard shouts. Kira collapses to her knees, her eyes glazing over. She looks up, her voice a raspy whisper. Kane Valerius tried to break me. I need Alpha Vance. The gate groans open. A giant of a man steps out, wearing heavy battle-worn armor. It's Alpha Vance Stryker. He carries a massive executioner's blade strapped to his back. He looks down at Kira, seeing the raw, jagged wound on her chest where the bond was severed. He doesn't show pity, he shows respect. He steps over the borderline, his presence causing the guards to stiffen. Vance looks her dead in the eye. You're a long way from home, Wolf. Why should I let you in? Kira pulls herself up, her jaw set. Because I have the information to destroy Kane, and I know how to kill him. Vance studies her for a heartbeat, then sheathes his blade. He barks at his men. Bring her inside. Lock the gates and alert the healers. We have a war to prepare for. Inside the stone walls of the Shadowvale fortress, there is no time for pity. Kira wakes up on a hard wooden table, her wounds stitched, but her chest still burning from the severed bond. Standing over her is Gina, the pack's head trainer, a warrior with a face carved from stone and scars covering her arms. Gina tosses a pair of heavy leather combat wraps onto Kira's chest. Up! The Alpha doesn't feed freeloaders. You want revenge? You earn it in the dirt. Kira pushes through the blinding pain, gripping the edge of the table, and forces herself to stand. Her voice is raw but steady. Lead the way. Seconds later, they are in the subterranean iron cages. The air smells of sweat and iron. Gina doesn't hold back. She swings a heavy wooden staff straight at Kira's ribs. Kira dodges late, taking the hit, and crashes to the stone floor. Too slow, Gina barks. Kane's wolves won't wait for you to catch your breath. Kira spits blood, her silver eyes flashing. She pushes herself up, sweeping her leg out to catch Gina by surprise. Gina leaps over the kick, grinning. Better, again! For days, the routine is relentless. Kira undergoes brutal combat conditioning, sparring against 3 elite warriors at once. She is bruised, battered, and pushed to the absolute brink of physical exhaustion, but she refuses to stay down. Late one night, the training circle is empty except for Kira, who is savagely hitting a heavy leather punching bag, her hands bleeding through the wraps. You're overextending your right hook. A deep, rumbling voice echoes through the shadows. Alpha Vance steps into the dim torchlight. He has discarded his heavy armor, wearing only a dark tunic that reveals his battle-scarred frame. He walks up to her, his massive presence instantly changing the air in the room. He reaches out, his large, warm hand gently gripping her wrist to correct her stance. The physical touch sends an electric jolt through Kira's veins, not the draining him of her old bond, but a spark of pure, raw energy. She looks up into his dark, intense eyes. "Why did you really let me in, Vance?" Kira asks, her breathing ragged. "You don't know me?" Vance looks down at her bleeding knuckles, his thumbs softly brushing over the leather wrap. "Because I saw a wolf who refused to die. Kane thought he broke you, but all he did was unleash something he can't control. I don't rescue people, Kira. I build allies." Kira steps closer, her chest rising and falling. "And what happens when Kane comes for me?" Vance's grip tightens slightly, his voice dropping to a dangerous, protective growl. "Then we paint the border with his blood. Drop a comment right now if you felt the chemistry between Vance and Kira. Will they become the ultimate power couple? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because the next scene is about to break the internet. Leave a like to back Kira's path to absolute power." The next morning, the training cage is packed. Vance stands on the observation deck alongside Jason, the pack strategist, and Ernestine, the ancient elder record keeper. Below, Gina faces Kira with twin steel daggers. "No restrictions today, Kira," Gina warns, flipping the blades. "Show me what you've learned." Gina lunges like a viper. Kira moves with terrifying new speed, parrying the blades with her forearm guards. Sparks fly. Gina kicks Kira back, rushing in for a decisive strike at her throat. Suddenly, something shifts deep within Kira's DNA. The agony of the broken bond disappears, replaced by an ancient, suffocating pressure wave. The black blood in her veins begins to glow with blinding, luminous silver light. Kira roars, a sound so powerful it shatters the stone tiles beneath her feet. The shockwave blasts Gina across the arena, sending her crashing into the iron bars. Kira stands in the center of the dust cloud, her hair flowing, and when she opens her eyes, they are no longer human. They are a brilliant, luminescent, glowing white silver. A terrifying, majestic aura radiates from her body, making the elite warriors in the room drop to their knees under the sheer weight of her presence. Up on the balcony, Ernestine drops her ancient ledger, her hands trembling in absolute shock. The mythic silver-white bloodline. It's impossible. It was wiped out generations ago. Vance grips the stone railing, staring down at Kira as her silver aura pulses. His heart hammers against his ribs. She wasn't weak. She was a god living among mortals, suppressed by those who feared her rise. The heavy iron gates of the fortress suddenly groan. A messenger from the Thornwood pack, Danny Williams, rides in under a white flag of truce, flanked by 2 guards. He looks terrified, his eyes darting to the cracked stone floor and Kira's fading silver aura. He unrolls a blood-stained parchment and reads with a shaking voice. An ultimatum from Alpha Kane Valerius. Return the fugitive Kira Frost to the neutral border within 7 days to face execution, or the Thornwood army will march and burn Shadowvale to ash. Kira steps forward, her silver eyes locking onto the messenger. The sheer force of her gaze makes him stumble backward. She draws Vance's massive broadsword from the wall rack with one hand and slams the tip into the center of the war parchment, pinning it to the floor. "Go back to your master," Kira commands, her voice resonating with terrifying authority. "Tell Kane I won't be hiding at the border. Tell him to meet me in the ancient circle. I am coming to take his crown." The 7-day countdown begins. The Shadow Vale fortress transforms into a sprawling forge of war. Armor is hammered, silver blades are sharpened, and the air hums with anticipation. But in the tactical war room, the atmosphere is suffocatingly tense. Jason Phillips spreads a massive map across the iron table, pointing to a cratered valley. The ancient circle, its neutral ground, bordered by 6 different pact territories. If Kane plays dirty, and he will, he'll have hidden archers on these high ridges. We need to secure the perimeter before the dueling horns blow. Kira stands over the map, her posture commanding, the glowing silver aura faintly shimmering beneath her skin. Let him hide his wolves. The moment he steps into that ring, his armies won't save him. This ends between him and me. Vance steps up beside her, his massive shoulder brushing against hers. "We don't just fight for revenge, Kira. We fight for the future of the territory. If Kane falls, his pack fractures. We need to show the other 5 lords that Chateau Vale offers stability, not tyranny." Kira looks up at him, the fierce defiance in her eyes softening into something deeper, an unspoken understanding. "You're risking everything for an outcast, Vance." Vance places his hand firmly on the table over hers, his voice low and unwavering. "You ceased to be an outcast the moment you bled on my floor. You are a leader, Kira. It's time the world sees what a real Luna looks like." The night before the trial, the fortress goes quiet. Kira stands on the highest balcony, looking out over the moonlit valley. She feels a presence behind her before she hears him. Vance steps out, holding a beautifully crafted chest. He opens it, revealing a stunning set of lightweight, midnight black tactical armor laced with pure silver filigree. This belonged to the first Alpha of my line. It responds to raw kinetic energy. It was waiting for a wolf strong enough to wear it. Kira traces the silver patterns, her heart racing. As she reaches for the chest plate, Vance helps her fasten the straps. His hands are incredibly gentle for a man who has taken so many lives. The proximity is intoxicating. Kira turns in his embrace, their breaths mingling in the cold night air. "If I don't survive tomorrow," Kira whispers. Vance catches her jaw, his thumb wiping away a stray hair. "You will survive, because I will be right beside you, and my wolf answers to no one but you." He leans down, pressing a fierce, possessive kiss to her forehead that seals their unspoken vow. They are no longer just allies. They are a united front. We are heading into the final battle. Smashing that like button right now gives Kira the strength to crush Kane. Who do you think draws first blood in the circle? Tell me in the comments right now. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the epic conclusion of this masterpiece. The morning sun cuts through the fog over the ancient circle. The atmosphere is electric, suffocating. Thousands of warriors from 6 different territories line the rocky cliffs, looking down into the massive stone amphitheater. Elder Pearl, a blind but fiercely respected neutral judge, stands in the center, her carved staff resting on the blood-stained stone floor. A deafening horn blows. From the north side, Alpha Kane Valerius marches in, wearing heavily polished, gold-plated armor that reflects the sun. He is flanked by Talia and 40 of his elite executioners. He looks arrogant, a smirk plastered across his face as he looks around at the crowd, basking in their cheers. From the south side, the gates groan open. Alpha Vance Stryker steps out, flanked by Jason and Gina. Beside him walks Kira Frost, clad in the midnight black and silver armor, her hair braided back, her gaze locked onto Kane like a missile targeting its mark. Kane laughs boisterously, stepping into the center of the ring. Look at this tragic sight. A broken outcast, hiding behind a desperate Alpha. Vance, step aside and hand over my property, and perhaps I will let your pack live. Vance draws his massive executioner's blade, the heavy steel scraping against the air. She is no one's property, Kane. You initiated the trial of claim. Under the ancient laws, your words mean nothing now. Let the steel do the talking. Elder Pearl slams her staff onto the ground. A shockwave of invisible energy pulses outward, sealing the boundaries of the ring. The rules are absolute, a formal duel of honor. No outside interference. The winner claims allegiance. Let the trial begin. Kane unsheathes twin golden broadswords, his eyes flashing a malicious amber. He shifts his weight, roaring as he lunges forward with terrifying, blinding speed, aiming straight for Vance's throat. The clash of their weapons rings out like a thunderclap, sending sparks flying across the stone arena as the final battle for dominance officially explodes. The battle inside the ancient circle is a masterclass in raw, brutal violence. Kane moves like a golden blur, his twin swords slashing through the air, forcing Vance onto the defensive. Sparks rain down on the stone floor with every thunderous collision of steel. Vance counters with a devastating, heavy, horizontal sweep, the sheer force of his executioner's blade cracking Kane's golden chest plate and sending the tyrant staggering back. But Kane smiles, a sickening, malicious smirk. He raises his hand and gives a subtle hand signal to the high ridges. High above the cliffs, hidden thornwood archers emerge from the brush, leveling crossbows loaded with poisoned silver bolts. "Vance, watch out!" Kira screams. Before Vance can react, 3 bolts tear through the air, burying themselves deep into his back and thigh. The fast-acting silver poison floods his veins. Vance drops heavily to one knee, his blade slipping from his grip as his body paralyzes. The crowd of thousands erupts into chaotic shouts. Elder Pearl screams interference. The trial is compromised. But Kane doesn't care about the laws anymore. He struts over to the immobilized Vance, lifting his golden sword high above his head, aiming straight for Vance's neck. History is written by the victors, old man. Shadow Vale dies with you. Step away from him. Kira's voice doesn't just echo, it shakes the entire valley. She leaps from the observation platform, dropping 20 feet directly into the center of the ring. Her landing hits with such kinetic force so that the stone floor shatters beneath her boots, sending a shockwave that knocks Kane back. Kane steadies himself, laughing hysterically. "You? What are you going to do, Kira? You are a broken wolf with a severed bond. You are nothing." Kira stands tall, her chest heaving as she looks at Vance's bleeding form, then back at Kane. The ultimate rage triggers something cataclysmic deep within her DNA. I am Kira Frost, and I invoke the right of independent choice. Suddenly, her body begins to radiate a blinding, suffocating white-silver light. The temperature in the valley drops to freezing. The black blood in her veins glows furiously through her skin. She lets out a deafening, earth-shattering roar that causes the hidden archers on the cliffs to drop their weapons in terror. Her bones crack and reshape. Her body expands exponentially. The midnight armor stretches and fuses with thick, luminescent silver fur. In seconds, she doesn't just shift into a normal wolf. She transforms into a massive, 10-foot-tall, majestic bipedal White-Silver Lycan. Her razor-sharp claws hum with celestial glowing energy, and her eyes burn like twin white supernovas. The entire stadium of thousands falls into a dead, terrified silence. Nobody has seen this mythic form in 500 years. Smash that like button right now if your jaw dropped. Kira has officially awakened the god-tier Lycan bloodline. Type silver in the comments if you want to see her absolutely dismantle Kane. Subscribe right now, because the execution begins in 3, 2, 1. Kane's arrogance instantly turns into pure, unadulterated horror. "Kill her now," he commands his elite executioners. 10 massive thornwood wolves leap into the ring at once. It is a total, absolute bloodbath. Kira moves like a silver streak of lightning. She swats the first wolf mid-air, her claws tearing through its flesh and sending it crashing violently into the stone wall. She grabs 2 more wolves by their throats, smashing their skulls together with sickening cracks before tossing them aside like ragdolls. She is unstoppable, a force of nature. Within 2 minutes, Kane's elite guard lies decimated in the dirt. Kane turns to flee, desperately attempting to shift into his amber-eyed wolf form. But Kira is already there. She leaps across the 60-foot arena in a fraction of a second, grabbing Kane by the neck mid-air and slamming him face first into the ancient stone altar. She shifts back into her human form, entirely unbothered, her silver eyes looking down at the bleeding, broken tyrant. Kane gasps for air, whimpering in the mud, his golden armor completely shattered. "Please! Kira, the bond! We can fix it! You broke the bond, Kane," Kira whispers, her voice cold as ice. "But you forgot one thing. I am the one who lets you live, and today my mercy is clean out." With one swift, devastating stomp of her boot, she shatters his alpha core. Kane screams as his power is violently ripped from his body, leaving him a powerless, broken human. Kira turns around, walking over to Vance and pulling the silver arrows from his back. As the poison clears, Vance stands up, his eyes filled with profound pride and reverence. He grips her hand, raising it high into the air. Talia steps into the ring, drops her dual daggers, and falls to her knees before Kira. Slowly across the high ridges, thousands of Thornwood warriors and the leaders of the other 5 territories drop to their knees in unison, bowing to the new supreme power of the region. Kira looks out across the massive coalition. She doesn't give a long, drawn-out speech. She looks at Vance, then turns her fierce, commanding gaze to the crowd. "The old ways are dead," Kira commands, her voice ringing with absolute earned authority. "Shadowvale and Thornwood are united. If you stand with us, you prosper. If you cross us, you burn." The crowd lets out a thunderous, deafening roar of allegiance as a massive silver aurora fills the night sky, signaling the birth of a terrifying new empire.